Hey everybody, this is Trey Michael again. I have a message, and it's been weighing on my heart to go ahead and address this, and I want to address this now. Humanity is having evolution, not a revolution, not a protest. We're having an evolution. Humanity is raising our, we're setting our goals high. We're saying where we're at now is not perfect, and we're never going to be perfect. This is a this is a this is a journey. There's no destination to get to. I want to reference three errors, and I'm going to break those areas down into dimensions. And I want everybody to understand this. And if you don't right now, it's okay. You'll get it later. And if you don't get it, that's fine. Your children will get it. And because this is what humanity has made a call for. It's not a political thing. It's not Democrat, Republican. So I'm going to start with this. And I'm going to use the Bible as a referencing point. Before Jesus or Yahshua, so I'll say Jesus. Everything I'm going to say, I'm just going to talk in the regular layman terms so everybody understands. Before Jesus, there was Moses. And the human's evolution was so low that when Moses went to the top of the mountain, he came back with the pillars. Also, we know them as the 10 Commandments. Now, if I was to say these commandments to you now, this is like common sense to us humans now. We've evolved past that. No one has to tell us that thou shalt not kill. We know that killing is wrong. No one has to tell us that thou shalt not steal. We know that stealing is wrong. Adultery, we should know that that's wrong. These simple principles were given to Moses from God or Creator because the humans obviously needed to know that. That error was called the second dimension. And the humans held on to that belief for a very long time until a man came about by the name of Jesus. Now, Jesus didn't really go and preach to tell you that you shouldn't kill. He didn't tell you that you shouldn't steal. He was basically trying to unite, for the first time, the Hebrews and the Gentiles. He came to fulfill or to go to the next level of evolution for humanity. So what he did was he came and he suffered and sacrificed. And it was the Gentiles that was oppressing his people, the Hebrews, or the Jews as we call them. And when he died, after his death, Constantine, the first Roman emperor, decided, instead of throwing the Hebrews in the lion's dens and crucifying them, let's join them. And that was what we call the third dimension, or the Piscean era. Now, if you look at the astrological signs for Pisces, it's the fish. If you also notice that the Romans used the fish to represent Christianity, that was because Jesus brought us to the next astrological chart, which was the era of Pisces. And if you are a Bible scholar, you'll know that when Jesus died, they said that there was a split in the veil. The veil was the veiling that hid the Ark of the Covenant. Also, if you're a real Bible scholar, you'll know that only holy people could go to the Ark of the Covenant. Only people what I say consciousness was on a higher path, they could go to the ark. And if not, they strap bells around them, and you'll know if they were salty, right? Because when they go in, you hear the bells rattling, and the priest knew to pull them back out. He died. These evolutions happen every 2,000 and something years. From that time period, we're in a new era. And it's another one saying to humanity that we've outgrown this box again. And instead of just accepting, to some extent, other humans that look different or born from a different subgroup of humanity, I believe what we're doing now is deciding to say, let's can these subgroups. Let's can black, let's can white, let's can Jewish, Mexican, blase swaze, right? And in order for us to be able to do this, right now we're having to go back to our foundation and tear it down. And tearing down stuff that you were comfortable in is scary. So right now what humanity is doing is they're addressing one of the subgroups that we created. God didn't create subgroups, it's what we created. And they're addressing the subgroup of white people, white privilege, white civilization. Now, the reason that I believe that the universe or the human collective is deciding to go to that group versus starting with the black people or the Hispanic people or the Native American people is because that group on planet Earth has achieved through, I'm going to say, negative ways, dominance and a separation of the rest of humanity. As you know, Africa is basically controlled by Europeans. America, Europeans. China, they're basically submissive to America and its might. And what we're doing now is facing that big portion. And right now, I don't even need to keep pushing that because the humans as a whole, all nationalities agree that that's the route that we're going to go. So what I plan on doing is to have a set plan. And since I know that that's already working itself out, you have people like Matthew McConaughey sitting down to address what is white privilege, to be able to hear the voice from the other people. Now, I know people are going to disagree with me when I say this part. I don't even believe that white people is going to be the hardest group to act as a whole, as a subgroup to change. I honestly believe it's going to be the black people that's going to have the hardest it's going to be the hardest for them to accept their change. It's going to be hard for them to no longer, after the world has said, okay, cool, we're going to be even. It's going to be hard for them to stop playing victim. It's going to be hard for them to realize that your rap music has destroyed your own community. It's going to be hard to note that your culture of hatred amongst each other, it's going to be hard for you to change. It's going to be hard for you to realize that all of your gangs, and I said all of your gangs, so if your Blood, your Crip, your GD, your Vice Lord, your P-Stone Ranger, I don't care what you are, that's ignorance. That has nothing to do about being together. It's actually a higher form of separation. So I want to start with this. While the world is already focusing their attention on fighting white supremacy, I'm not even going to say white supremacy, the ideology that whites are supreme. If you are of higher awareness, and I consider myself on higher awareness, we might as well go ahead and start setting the plans for this other subgroup that humanity has created. And that subgroup are called minorities or black people or people of color. And I don't want to jump the gun, and a lot of people want to do that. They want to skip over step one and jump straight to step two because step one has to do with you. But I'm going to go ahead and begin the process of setting up an implementation or a plan for after step one is finished. Because after step one, you have step two, then you have three. And like I said, it's a journey. It's not a destination. We're going to be processing these steps for eternity. And each step that we take, we as humanity will finally get to a point that there are no races. I don't mean racist people. I mean, there will be no races. Black, white, Chinese, Asian. We'll just be human beings, the human race. And then from then, I believe it's going to be glorious because then we can focus on things outside of this planet, space exploration, travel, unified as one. And then probably we'll have to start unifying with other beings that are out there. You guys, this is a very pivotal time in life. And I really want to say this because I didn't choose what ethnicity I would be born at. So I take it as not a coincidence that I was born black. I take it that the universe or God or creator made me this color because I have a message that I need to give to that subgroup that humanity created, right? And I want to first say this. I agree that your minds, I'm speaking for black people as a whole, not as individuals. You always have individuals within the group, right? I feel like I'm an individual. I feel that most of the stuff that I'm getting ready to say to you, I don't even perceive it. I can walk in a room with 50 Klansmen. I promise you, I've done this before. The biggest racist people in the planet, dude, okay? I've sat down with business owners and if you hear me and you know I'm speaking truth, from Arkansas that despise black people. I mean, the guy that I'm speaking of, he told me himself, even his son didn't like black people. And then when you met a person like myself of higher awareness, they couldn't help but say, something different about this guy. Why is he like this? And in each ethnicity, there are going to be some like myself that make the others question their reality. There are going to be white people that black people would judge as racist, that they've labeled them for dead. You're a bigot. And then you're going to finally realize that that person has more love filled within his pinky than those people that are calling him racist has in their entire being. And those are what I call the 144,000. Those are what I call the light workers of the world. We're the ones that chose, and everybody can choose to do this, but we're the ones that chose to say, hey, I'm not coming to be part of your subgroups, but I will acknowledge that humanity has subgroups, and I'll show humanity subgroups from my awareness, from how I see things. And it can't force them to change. It just gives them another option to think differently. Black people, your minds have been taken from you. And don't worry about who took them. It's irrelevant. You know, they had programs like William Lynch that took your identity. You believe that you were subhuman and animalistic. That system of William Lynch taught you to be vicious and violent. And it broke your morals. And it's going to be hard for you. And I'm not speaking for all blacks. I'm speaking for that subgroup. It's going to be hard for you to no longer play victim. It's going to be hard for you to take responsibility for your actions. So that's the part that I'm going to work on. I'm going to be putting my money, putting my time and my focus on helping that subgroup become more human. Because right now, with all the murders and stuff, and again, this is just step 2. So for everybody's like, yeah, we need to go to step. No, focus on step 1. I didn't choose to start with step 1. Humanity chose to start with step 1. That's black people, white people, Hispanic people, Asian people, all ethnicities. They chose. I didn't choose this. So since we all decided, hey, let's start on step 1. Let's continue the process of step 1, stopping this colonizing mentality that the colonizers were good or the colonizers were the best thing smoking, and then we label other colonizers terrorists. We're going to label everything the same. And then we need to start working on ourselves. You control your own reality, especially after your body is free. Then you control your reality. You control whether you're going to have happiness, riches, and wealth, and no one's going to give it to you. So inside of each subgroup, everyone believes that, you know, I know it's probably lots of blacks. Oh, the white people are just going to give. They're not going to give you anything. They don't owe you anything. You're going to have to earn it. Now, I agree that it's hard for a person to focus on your personal truths when you got nails in your hands, shackles on your throat, on your hands and feet. But once they break those shackles, you do know. I mean, you do know. You got to bust your behind. Now, my shackles were released for myself through personal experiences. That's just my personal one. I don't lump that in the group. I'm talking about me personally. Everybody's not the same. Everybody's not Moses. Everybody's not Jesus, right? You know, they came and people followed them, right? And it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be fair. And it's going to be beautiful. So if you're listening to this now, you guys, it's going to be easier for you, I'm telling you through experience, to let go and just let it be. The old world that we once used to know is no longer here. The world that Jesus' era used to know. We don't know that era. And when Jesus came, everybody was telling him the same thing. Oh, well, we like it how it was with Moses. He was like, oh, I'm changing this. This changes now. And you can tell that by the scriptures when they used to tell him, well, what do you say the laws of Moses say? We should kill this woman. He didn't deny the laws of Moses. He just said, hey, let he without sin cast the first stone. And that began the thinking process of changing how they thought. And right now, and I'm so happy to be on planet Earth right now, I was able to be here and to be a part of this change. Now, if you don't choose to be a part of this change, my personal opinion is just stay out of it. But this change is going to happen whether you choose or I choose it to happen or not. I just want to give this words of encouragement. It's easier to let go and to start over than to hold on to something that's decaying. Like I always say, live, love, and laugh. And namaste, namaste, namaste. Peace.